just guide me and ask me questions,
Yeah, we're
right?
going to have a good time.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. We are going to have a good time. It's Carol Lourie, and I'm here with my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Ritamarie Loscalzo, who is so many things. She's a chiropractor. She's a functional endocrinology person. She knows so much, and she's been doing this for many, many years, as have I. And she's really, we're lucky to have her here. So welcome, Dr. Ritamarie, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Thanks for that lovely welcome.
Oh, it's well deserved. So share a little bit about what you do and how you got where you are, and just let's introduce you to the community.
So what I do, it's always
Yeah,
hard to talk about
simple.
because I do a lot, and I have two main aspects, and I teach health practitioners how to truly get to the root cause, because so many of them out there went through traditional, or not traditional, not a good word,
No,
conventional medicine, medical training. The traditional stuff is all the good stuff.
I
Um,
know.
they don't learn about nutrition. They don't learn about diet. They don't learn about lifestyle. They learn about drugs and cutting. And
Symptom A equals drug B, unfortunately,
exactly, the
right?
this for that approach. And I teach them how to do how to do things differently. So we train doctors, nurses, health coaches, etc.
That's
And then
wonderful.
my passion is to help people to not end up with the surgeries and the drugs and death, like a lot of people in my family did, because they didn't get the right care, because they weren't told how to eat right, how to avoid toxins in the environment, how to clean up the insides and help the liver to work better in the gut. So I work a lot with endocrinology problems, but endocrinology is actually the whole thing, because endocrinology controls everything. People think about endocrinology as, oh, the
Thyroid or
thyroid or the insulin
fertility, right?
or fertility, but it's way more than that. So we help people to get their whole endocrine system balanced.
So my community is women with breast cancer. So their endocrinology system is out of balance.
Yeah.
Before they got breast cancer, they were diagnosed with the disease. And many women don't know this, but there's only a 15% statistic which contributes to the genetic development of breast cancer. So that means 85% of breast cancer is other causes, quote unquote.
Right.
Environmental, lifestyle, stress, nutrition, how women are eating. So let's talk a little bit about that, because there's no such thing as hearing it too often and from a different perspective. It's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, people want to blame their genes. Oh, my mother got breast cancer, so I'm going to get breast cancer. And a lot of people are prophylactically then having mastectomies because they may have the genetics. And really, the genetics are just a little piece of it. And the genetics, I always tell people, the genetics make it define what you can get away with. So if you have genetics, if you have a family history of breast cancer, which doesn't mean it's genetic, by the way, that
Right.
could be, the passing on of the epigenetics, but the genetic factors you have, if you have those, you just have to be more careful, because like people drink coffee like it's just water. And coffee is not like water. And coffee requires the liver to get involved to detoxify the tannins, the caffeine, and the other components in it. And what most people don't realize is that there is a gene that detoxifies coffee, does about 90%, I think, of the coffee detoxification, the CYP1B1 gene, but it also detoxifies the estrogen metabolites that the liver is going, get that out of here, get that out of here. And it can't detoxify when it's being challenged by drinking coffee all day.
Coffee, right. It's
So that's
busy
one.
all the time.
Yeah, it's busy all the time with the coffee, so it doesn't handle the estrogen, which is there, 24/7. So I'll get to that later. And so we get a buildup of this kind of estrogen. It's called 4-hydroxyestrone for those technical
Right.
geeks among you.
Which is
But
the unhealthy version of estrogen, which goes into inflammatory pathways and potentially contributes to breast cancer.
well, it damages DNA.
Right.
That's a biggie, right? And so, yeah, genetics play a role in how well we might detoxify, but we play a role, our choices play a role in how much we're exposed to those things that put the liver under the stress to have to detoxify.
So that brings up a really interesting point, which is we have control over a lot of what we're exposed to and the choices that we make in our home, in what we put in our mouth, in how we wash our clothes, and do we have plug-ins and those horrible sprays, just so toxic. And there are environmental issues that we don't have control over, like when we go outside, we're breathing the air. Even water in our home, we have control over because I'm always sending out from my community the water filter that filters out. It's so important to filter your water.
Right.
So, how do women take what we don't have control over? And what are some of the lifestyles that activities that women can develop to really diminish the impact of that on their health?
That's a really good question, Carol, because though, we have no control over. I mean, we can move to the desert. We can, well, a lot of places are polluted. We can move to the top of the Himalayas. I mean, we can do that, but that's not practical stuff. Like people have
Right.
homes, they have families, they have jobs, so they're not going to just move. So yes, you can control everything you do inside and outside the home, right? You can control the pesticides you use on your lawn because those things
Oh
can
God,
really
yeah.
have a big impact. When you're outside, you don't want to walk around in a little, hazmat suit all the time, right? And not be able to breathe and not be able to live. But you can choose the activities you do. I mean, number one, right? We can choose to be outdoors in nature a lot. And that exposure to that clean air and that freshness can help to diminish the impact of the other stuff. We can shore up the body's ability to cleanse and detoxify, right? We can avoid the things we can avoid, which leaves the liver and the other detoxification pathways open to handle the stuff we can't. So, like I said about coffee, I mean, everybody's into this big coffee thing, a resurgence of coffee as a health food. It's not a health food. I'm sorry. I don't care whether you put Memsi tea oil or butter in it. I don't care what you put in it. Coffee's not a health food. It's addictive. It's got caffeine, and it has to be detoxified. So, yeah, it does have some antioxidant properties in it, but I always look at double-edged swords. So where can you get some of the antioxidants that may be in coffee?
Green tea, green
Green
tea. There's
tea,
a lot of
herbal
research.
teas. Yes, there's so much research. And green tea, yes, has caffeine, but it has this much caffeine compared to coffee. And it's got this much protective effect compared to
Right,
coffee. So we
right.
really need to be choosing alcohol. Last couple of years, people sit on the couch, drink wine, and, get their sorrows away. Alcohol has a huge impact, and especially on the absorption of minerals and all, which can affect breast cancer. Low
Right.
iodine levels can lead to breast cancer. So, there's a lot of thing about iodophobia out there. Like, don't eat, iodine's the bad guy. Iodine's not the bad guy. It's
No,
unnecessary.
iodine isn't the bad guy, but you can easily get iodine by eating 6 selenium with your supports your thyroid. I'm getting selenium
Well,
and
eat sea
iodine foods.
vegetables.
Seaweed.
Sea vegetables and eat it like
Yeah,
somebody, eat it with green leafy vegetables and sea vegetables, not taking iodine capsules. Yeah, that can be toxic. And people who have Hashimoto's or other kinds of things have to, just watch the levels. Don't overdo it. But to delete all the iodine, our soils are deficient in iodine.
right.
They're completely deficient. The sea is where you get it from. So if you are eating excessive amounts of seafood and you are eating a lot of sea
Sushi
vegetables,
with the rolls, right.
you can get those things. So you make those choices. So I don't want to chastise any essential nutrients because in excess, they're problematic, but
Mhm.
you need them. You can't just say, no, get rid of the iodine because it's bad for some people, right? Same thing people say, don't eat raw cruciferous vegetables. Well, I went through mounds of studies on that. And raw cruciferous vegetables are not the problem they're made out to be. They are for some people and they are in extreme excess. But they've done studies. The reason that raw cruciferous vegetables have a problem with the thyroid, and I'm getting away from the breast, but breast
Okay,
and
it's
thyroid
connected.
is so connected
Mhm.
that when you take in the raw cruciferous, it interferes with the iodine absorption. So if you're deficient in iodine, you're going to have a problem with too much raw cruciferous. So I always tell people put some sea vegetables in your
Right.
raw cruciferous to make up for it, and watch. Right, if you suddenly start eating like lots of kale smoothies and you start to feel cold and your hair's falling out, there's a sign, right? We don't want to do anything in excess, but
Right.
nature's bounty is amazing. We don't want to just like get rid of it all, right?
Right. I think that's a really beautiful part of what we do is we bring women and people back to nature.
Yeah.
And like something as simple as eating with the seasons. It drives me crazy when I go where I shop in December that there are peaches from Chile. I always go to the people who purchase and I go, guys, it's freezing here. Why are we having peaches? Look at the eco and the impact this is making. Well, there are people in Berkeley who want peaches. I go, so what? It doesn't mean you have to spend your money and, pollute the environment with transporting them on a plane. Let's get more in the season, which is why something as simple as supporting your local farmer at the farmer's market.
Of it. Or grow your own, right?
Grow, I know.
Garden right now. And
Me too.
it's a little hot for the tomatoes and they're starting to get, but we're still every day pulling in a whole bunch of these little beautiful cherry tomatoes, and basil is like growing like crazy.
Basil loves the heat, right? I mean, I have a friend whose basil is
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm making pesto. All kinds of great things. Tomato basil salad with cucumbers, because we have a gazillion cucumbers. So eat from, my husband goes to the farmer's market every Saturday morning just to plant what we don't have in our own garden. So yeah, food is amazing. Sprouting is something you can do indoors. Takes pennies on the dollar to make a big thing of sprouts, and you can make broccoli sprouts. Those are so anti-cancer. The studies
very
are
sulforaphane.
Right, the sulforaphane in there. So there's so many things that we can do to protect ourselves from the things we can't. It's like the serenity prayer, right? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I can't change, change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
To know the difference, right?
Right. And so you can avoid, like when you're shopping, even, there's so many pesticides and air fresheners and all that. And when you go to the mall or anything, try to shop locally. Try to shop in, like you said, in the farmer's market more, but then, be in and out, right? Be in and out for the other things. I shop most of my stuff online, my staple kind of things, my herbs and nuts and seeds and all that. I just order them online, so I don't have to go to the store for them. So you just accept, and you accept the things you can't change, and you try to avoid them as much as possible, but without making your life miserable, So outdoor concerts, way better, even before this pandemic. Mm-hmm. Outdoor concerts are way more fun and way more,
I know, they're so great.
Yeah. And outdoor theaters, I know people are going to like watching movies in the park, and they're putting up big
how nice. That's
screens.
So great.
Like, that is so cool.
So one of the things that I hear from women a lot is it's overwhelming and I don't know where to start. So from a hormonal health point of view, where do you think is the most important place for a woman to start? What will have the biggest impact at the beginning for her?
Avoid the things that are damaging your system. So, the obvious stuff that we hear all the time, but a lot of people don't want to pay attention to, right? You don't want to eat foods that are laden with pesticides. You want to eat as much organic as possible, because same thing, the liver has to detoxify the hormones, and it has to detoxify this environmental
Chemicals,
right? So organic as much as possible. Nobody's going to be 100%. I'm not 100%. In the summer, I'm close to it because we got the farmer's market, but in the winter, it's maybe not. So organic as much as possible. Avoid all those sprays that people want their air to smell good.
Oh, right? Horrible.
Some lemon oil in some water and put it in a spray bottle and spray it around, and you'll have a really nice feeling.
Open up the windows.
And open up windows. Thank you for that, because that's a thing. I live in Texas, so it's hot in the summer. It's been over 100 for the last, 2 months. But we keep our air conditioner off most of the time, and people look like we're crazy. So what we do is we'll, in our bedroom, it's a separate air conditioning unit, thankfully.
Right.
We just keep it off all day. And then about 2 hours before we're going to bed, we turn on the AC, we get it cooled down, we turn off the AC, we open the windows, and we sleep with the windows.
That's beautiful. I love to do that. I don't like to sleep with air conditioning.
No, it's because it's recycling the same old when you get air from outside, unless you live in a polluted city, and then you have to do your trade-offs, but that's a really good thing. Even in the main part of the house, I work upstairs, so I keep my air conditioning on because it would be 95 degrees in my office, but as soon as I leave, I turn it off. But I go outside, right? If I get a break, if I get even a 5-minute break between appointments, I go outside. Whether it's winter or summer, I go outside because I want to get that fresh air and that
Makes a
circulation.
big difference.
It's a huge, huge, huge difference. Yeah. Yeah. So there's so many things that we can do, but clean up your diet. I would say number one, you've got to clean up your diet because most people are eating processed foods. They're eating hydrogenated oils or heated oils. Oxidized fats are the worst thing.
They are the worst.
Had cancer or is trying to prevent cancer.
Or for any disease, cardiovascular, Crohn's, colitis, migraine headaches, polycystic ovarian syndrome, depression. There's tons of research on PubMed that those hydrogenated saturated fats are the worst because they create a foundation of inflammatory process,
Right.
And that goes where your epigenetics is going to lead it.
Exactly. We really do need to keep our fats clean and avoid the processed stuff. And the other thing with cancer, huge link between cancer and metabolic imbalance. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, blood sugar, keeping your blood sugar balanced. And people are eating a lot of things that are raising the blood sugar into spikes and then dropping it down.
Coffee does that, starting the day with oatmeal. A lot of people come into my program. I have them say, what do you eat first thing in the morning? And 90% of the women think that it's a good thing to eat oatmeal, which it's not.
No. And I recommend that anybody who has a history of cancer, trying to avoid it, already had it, I recommend this for the general population too, is measure your blood sugar. You can't rely on the doctor's office to say, oh, Mary, your blood sugar is perfect at 95 or even 85, because that's just fasting blood sugar. What's happening to it the rest of the day?
Right.
So doing a full blood sugar panel, but I love just empowering people to either prick their finger or now you can easily get, I wear a
that's great
meter, it basically is checking my blood sugar all the time. And you find out what foods affect you and what foods don't.
That's
I know
really important.
Line up. And so does mango. But if I eat that, or I drink a green smoothie with it, or I eat a big salad with it, it doesn't. So you learn how to keep your blood sugar in that really nice, steady state. That's not going to cause inflammation and is not going to cause your body to go into a cancer or cardiac kind of imbalance.
And blood sugar especially is very important for any types of cancer because cancer will choose sugar over oxygen for its gas tank, so to speak. Right. So it's so important. And I'm going to find out who is making this. I know that you're an expert in that. I saw some posting on our Mindshare Facebook page and share that information with my community because I think that's a really important aspect of really dialing in what's happening on your health.
Absolutely. And the other thing about it is just going back to cancer, there are 10 times the number of insulin receptors on cancer cells as there are on normal cells. Correct. So if you're eating a load of sugar, and I don't care if it's processed sugar or a
mango or lots of watermelon, people are saying, oh, I'm eating lots of watermelon right now. I don't think so.
Well, maybe, but check your blood sugar. If your blood sugar stays perfectly fine, your hemoglobin A1C is fine, your insulin is the critical one.
Yes.
Especially with the cancer. You have to test that insulin. And you got to keep that insulin fasting below 5, not below 19 like the lab reports tell you. It's got to be below 5. And that's going to shore up. There's a book, I forget his name of the author, but it's Cancer is a Metabolic Process.
Naisha Winters, my friend and colleague, has written that. Cancer is a metabolic disease, I think.
Well, there's somebody else that wrote a big, thick book.
Yeah, okay, great.
Everybody's now realizing that. So 10 times the number of insulin receptors. So when you bite into that mango or that candy bar or eat a bowl of rice even, it could raise your sugar up and raise your insulin up such that cancer cells are going, ooh, la, la.
I know. Here's gas for my gas tank. I'm excited.
I want this now. So yeah, I think that's a really important thing to do and figure it out and figure out your ideal spot and keeping that insulin level. Everybody should go get a fasting insulin tested.
I have this whole worksheet that I provide with my community of blood work to ask their doctors to do. Because most people come in and they've had maybe a CBC and a comprehensive, not even a vitamin D.
I know. That's another one.
And then there's like, okay, what's happening? You're fasting serum glucose, you're fasting serum insulin, your, IGF-1, your TNF alpha. Where are we going with that? And they'll ask the oncologist, and the oncologist will say, oh no, we don't need that.
We don't need that. Right.
Well,
Right.
you need that. I mean, yes, you have the right to ask for that.
Absolutely. And there's so many direct access labs out now. I don't know, other countries it may not be the same, but I know people in Germany that just go into the pharmacy and they get their blood drawn and they get their numbers so they can order that. But I know here in the States, there's a number of direct access lab companies. So if your doctor says no, you just go get them done.
Yeah, I'll provide that to my community also, because that's a really important
It's
skill.
very important. It's very important. I teach people how to actually read and understand what their
I
labs
know
are
you do. I
saying.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to know that. I mean, I think you need to
Yeah.
be empowered. This is my body, not your body, speaking to the doctor, right? And I should
My
be able
life.
to
It's not your
my
life.
life, right? And so I've seen people lose their lives. I've seen people have miserable quality of life, and it could have been changed. And we get in there and we run a few little tests and go, okay, here's what you need to do. And like that turns around.
So that's really important, ladies, to hear this from someone else other than myself, because Dr. Ritamarie and I are on the same page. When you're feeling poorly, it doesn't take a lot to turn things around, but you need to reach out. You have to stop thinking that you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
You just, like, can I open up the hood of my car and think I can fix it myself? Of course not. So it's the same thing. If you're out there and you're hearing this and you're suffering, please reach out and get some professional help from a functional medicine person who is interested in beyond the top level. Disease A gets drug B. We want to look underneath the hood and find the root cause, not just physically, but emotionally, which I think is really important. Let's talk about that for a few minutes.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so the emotional stuff gets locked in the body. And, here's what I think most diseases caused by. It has at least one of their causes: sympathetic nervous system overload.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know what that is,
I was going to say, most people don't know what that is. So
I mean, they're going to get this as soon as I say it, right? The sympathetic nervous system is fight, flight, run away from tigers, right? Get the system. It's like run away from fearful and stressful environments. This parasympathetic is where resting, digesting, the reproduction, all the healing, the detox, all of that happens when you're in parasympathetic. But I want you to take a really hard look at your life. Like, a lot of people are just completely even if they weren't stressed before, are stressed out now because of all the stuff that's been going on in the last 2 years. There's financial things, there's the health things, there's, family members, etc. So it's really important to have practices that you do on a regular basis to pull you out of sympathetic and into parasympathetic.
right.
And there's a lot of things you can do, but you have to be mindful of it. They're mindfulness practices. And when you can do that, you shift out of those patterns of interfering with digestion, raising your blood sugar. When you get stressed, your blood sugar goes up because of the hormone called cortisol. So all of those things need to be addressed. It's not just a matter of, I breathe, I relax. No, meditation, heart math, tapping. There's so many. Choose your adventure, which one works, and you'll feel a difference when you do it. And if you can do that multiple times throughout the day, I'm not saying to meditate for an hour 5 times a day.
It's like 5 minutes can make a really big difference.
Less even.
Step away from the computer, walk outside and sit for 5 minutes.
Focus on your heart, focus on the breathing, because some of these patterns, these old traumas, get locked in the body, and the nervous system just like replays them. Every little hint of something even remotely similar, it's going to play that pattern, and you're going to go into this fight. Even if it's not externally, you're doing it internally. Okay. So this is super, super important if you want to prevent cancer, overcome cancer, just keep your body healthy.
Keeping your body healthy is the key. What about sleep?
Yeah. Sleep is so important. And there's all connections between all these things I'm talking about. But so many people aren't getting enough sleep. They're either not getting enough sleep, and I call voluntary insomnia, where they're not getting to bed. They're just staying up and they're watching the news or watching yet another Netflix or doing work on the computer. They don't get to bed. And then the other is the involuntary insomnia, where the system is so wired up, it's not able to fall asleep, regardless of which one you're dealing with. Or you can fall asleep, but you wake up several times. So there's really 3 different types. You got to address it. because sleep is critical. And, you know, we say, oh, 8 hours of sleep, it's maybe 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But when we look at studies with like glucose management and insulin management, 8 to 9 hours seems to be best. And I periodically have people do what I call a sleep vacation. Plan a weekend. 3 days is ideal, but 2 days is fine, where you're just not going to do anything. You're just going to stay in bed for 12 hours, 12 hours, regardless of whether you stay asleep or not. You go into meditation mode, you have some mindfulness practices, but you let your body just for 12 hours for 2 to 3 days in a row. It has made such a difference in my patients. I've had people who now do it once a month because it just, and it gives them such energy. It's so amazing.
And what you do, I think, is you go to sleep, and then when you wake up, like on a Saturday, you don't have anything on your schedule.
Right.
And you just self-care all day. And then you find that you're tired and you take a 2-hour nap. And then you wake up and you do a little walking outside, and then you take another hour nap.
Yeah.
And it's like putting napping and energy back in your nervous system.
Yep. Yep. And get outdoors is important with that.
Yeah.
So you want to just stay indoors, but stay in the bed for at least 8 hours, even if you can't sleep the whole time, but up to 12. I mean, people just, they'll go to bed at 9 o'clock. They'll get up at 9 the next morning. Right.
And if they're awake, what do they do? Do they journal? Do they, you know, what can you do?
You can do light things, like you can journal, but you can meditate. You can think, you know, find things to appreciate and just focus on appreciation. And I personally, I love hours in bed where I'm not sleeping, that I just get to, it feels so good to just have the support of the bed and know. And you just have to, if your mind starts to go down to, I got to do this, I got to do that.
You got to bring it back. It's a real mindfulness moment. And it's the beginning of understanding how much our minds never shut up. Yeah. And how they're always like, oh, hi, you got to do this, you got to do that. Oh, that didn't go well. Oh, you want to talk to this person? Oh, let's put this. So you just have to bring your mind back and go, be here now, be here now. And there is this concept, people say this to me a lot, I can't meditate. And I've been meditating for like 40 years. And I think it's funny because there's this concept of, you know, you're going to close your eyes, you're going to sit there, and all of a sudden you're going to be a great meditator. Every time you meditate, it's practice. It's like, oh, there's the mind doing its thing. Okay, bye. Thank you for sharing. Next. I mean, you just always have to bring yourself back to the center of.
Always coming back.
And it's like that for whether you've been doing it for the first 5 days or the first 5 minutes or the first 50 years. It's like that for everyone. And the longer you do it, the less power your mind has over you, and you become more aware of your mind patterns. But it's not something that just, oh, I'm a great meditator, everybody's great, and I'm not. It doesn't work like that. We're all struggling with it.
All the time. I struggled with, and I didn't do it for a while because I'd go, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this.
I'm not good at meditating.
I'm not good at meditating.
I do that a lot.
And I started to use a headband called the Muse headband. Have you heard of that?
No.
So it's a headband you put on, and it reads your brain waves. And there's an app on your phone. And see, I'm a tech person.
I know you are.
You know, I love technology, but I also love that it tracks my meditation. And if the brain waves start to go out of the relaxed state and into more of the active state, it changes the sound, and you can control what sounds and stuff it does.
I love this.
It's like I have a beach sound in the background. So the nice waves, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, it's like this huge storm is happening. Oh, there I go again. And then when you're in this relaxed state for more than a few seconds, 5 seconds or so, you hear the birds tweet. So while you're doing it, you are a competitive type person you're going, okay, I want more birds. What do I have to do? Oh, I have to, there's the bird, you know, and you get to that point and it tracks how many days. Well, I am almost up to 18 days straight of meditating.
So what's the URL for this Muse headband? Because everybody wants it.
Yes, just type.
I just put it in the chat, everyone. We're just going to do Muse headband.
Just choose. Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on their own site. I think it's choosemuse.com, something like that. But I'm up to, I'm going to go to here. I am up to me. Okay. Oh, tomorrow we'll make 1,800. I always love celebrating those. Like, I have 1,719 in a row of meditating. And what is that? How many years straight? And I couldn't do it at all. So 1,800 divided by 365 4.9 years. So the next thing I'll be celebrating after this will be 5 years. So I have to calculate what that number will be,
That's
and
congratulations. That's a big
celebrate.
milestone.
It's huge because I was one. My mind goes all the time. I'm always
Well,
thinking and
as
planning,
successful, busy entrepreneurs, of course, that's what
right?
happens with us, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm always thinking about, oh, what I could do for that person, and how can I motivate this person to do more? And so I'm always thinking, right? What's the next event I'm going to do? Because I do a lot of events. Yeah.
That's so I love this. And I'm not such an app person, but I think that this Choose Muse is really great because it gives you direct feedback.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm off center. I want more birds, or I want more whatever it is. I want more ocean waves or something. And it really helps you train your mind and your body to stay in the zone.
Exactly. And you can pretend you're there. Like, if I love the beach, it's my favorite place in the world, is to be
I
at the beach.
know.
It's most relaxing. I love it. So I hear the sounds and I'm like, oh, and I can, picture it. And I'm just, the laundry and all the tasks I have to do now.
I can wait. It's not important.
Right, right. I'm gonna take care
Laundry will be there whenever we get to it.
of
That's
when we
just a
get to it.
reality of life, as
True.
does other stuff. And
Right.
I think as we get older, we realize you have to stack what's important. And
Yes.
putting your mental health and your calmness is at the top of the list, because when you're centered like that, everything else flows into place. And I know that for the women I work with who have breast cancer, there is in homeopathy, and you know this too, because you're a homeopath, there's an energy to certain diseases, and that's called a miasm in homeopathic philosophy. And the energy of breast cancer is rush, 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 do, do, do. I have to do this. I have to take care of this person. The woman is always pushing herself. There's a level of perfectionism. And that's because when you think about it, breast cancer and any cancer is cells that have decided to stop paying attention to the rules of stop and go. So there's
Oh,
this unbounded energy and uncontrolled doing syndrome. And how we get out of that is really, it takes a lot of initially cognition and effort, and homeopathic remedies really help. But something like this Choose Muse is really fantastic.
yeah. I love it. I'm a big advocate.
Thank you for sharing that. Any last words? I know you have other meetings today, and I so appreciate your time. What
Yeah.
little tidbit? You've been doing this with thousands of women for many, many years.
Yeah. Over 30 years is when
Me
I
too.
started this.
Me
Yeah. It's a
too.
long time, and things have shifted and changed. But one thing
A
that
lot of
doesn't
shifts and
change
changes.
is choice. You
Choice.
get to choose. You get to choose everything you put in and on your body. You get to choose your thoughts, and you get to choose you. And when you can choose you and put yourself as the top priority, your own health, then that's when the diseases melt away. And people say, well, I can't because I have to take care of my mother and my kid and my whatever. You can't take care of them well unless you're taking care of you. So I would say every day, wake up in the morning, find a few things to appreciate before you get out of bed. If you have a mindfulness practice, do it. If you don't, figure it out and get one, right? But choose appreciation. What do I appreciate about me, about my life? And how do I, keep that feeling of appreciation, live with an attitude of gratitude?
That's very beautiful. Choosing you and choosing appreciation of who you are and where you are and what you have, as opposed to seeing the glass half full.
Exactly.
Joanne, thank you for commenting. I really appreciate that. Everyone, we're really fortunate Dr. Ritamarie made time for us today, and that was a beautiful way to end. And this will be on my YouTube channel and all of my community. I'm going to follow up with you with this patch information. We all need to be monitoring our blood sugar. I love that. And Ritamarie, thank you so much, and we'll be in touch. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone. And this is Carol Lourie signing off for now. Thank you again.